Bangladesh is one of the most vulnerable countries in the world for earthquake. Especially the old part of capital Dhaka is the most vulnerable part.
এত দেখেছি আগে পিছিয়ে অনেক দেখেছি, মানে আজকের মতো আমি কখনো দেখি নাই। আজকে যে ভূমিকম্পটা হয়েছে খুব ভয়াবহ অবস্থা হয়েছে। আল্লাহর কাছে দোয়া এটাই করি, আল্লাহ সবাইকে হেফাজতে রাখুক।
ভাই ছিলাম ঘুমে, ভাই আমি বাসার সবাই ঘুমায় ছিল, আমিও ঘুমায় ছিলাম। হঠাৎ মানে দেখতে সব কিছু কাঁপতেছে, ঘুমটা ভেঙে উঠলো। হঠাৎ ঘুম থেকে ওঠার পর দেখলাম কি সবাই আর কি আল্লাহকে ডাকতেছে, লা ইলাহা ইল্লাল্লাহ মুহাম্মাদুর রাসূলুল্লাহ। তখন মনের ভিতরে একটা আতঙ্ক ঢুকে এলো, কারণ এমন ভূমিকম্প লাইফের ফার্স্ট আমি দেখলাম। এর আগে এত ভয়ঙ্কর কোন জায়গায় আমি দেখিনি এরকম ভয়।
There are so many buildings with risk and so many unfit buildings, and for the last couple of decades thousands of buildings have been developed here without the following of building codes and other rules. Actually, this is the most densely populated parts of capital Dhaka. Millions of people live in Old Dhaka in such kind of buildings like jungle of concrete. So the people, after this most severe earthquake here, they are now in panic and they are now living with risk. And the people are demanding to the concerned authorities that all the unfit buildings to be detected immediately, and government should take a long-term mega plan for this old part of Dhaka. Otherwise, if this type of earthquake happens in the future and lasted a little bit longer, in that case the casualties may be severe.
প্রত্যেকটা রিপোর্টে তো বলেই যে পৃথিবীর সবচেয়ে ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ শহর হলো বাংলাদেশের ঢাকা শহর। তা আমি মনে করি যে ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ ঠিক আছে, এরপর আমাদের উপর যে আল্লাহ তাআলার রহম, আলিমুল আমাদের দোয়া এবং মহিমুদের দোয়া, আল্লাহ তাআলা আমাদেরকে এখনো বাঁচিয়ে রাখছে।
And today we came to know from different parts of the country as well as from different parts of the city that there are reports of casualties, there are reports of injuries, and even some students of Dhaka University jumped from their dormitories and they were injured and have been hospitalized. So in other parts of Dhaka as well as the surrounding areas, panicked people tried to come out from their homes rapidly and there were reports of injuries. So here what I have come here and see that there was a building, and a part of that building, the front part, balcony part on the street, and there were injuries of some people, and there are also reports of life casualties in Dhaka several parts. The city dwellers are so much in panic, especially for the last couple of years, especially after the severe earthquake in Turkey. The issue of Bangladesh have been sounding loudly, but unfortunately there is no that type of initiative by the authorities. Sometimes after this type of earthquake, the authorities sometimes move and they are seen to visit some or inspect some buildings, and just a few days that type of initiatives are longer, then everything turns into a normalcy and people forget the situation. But the fact is that today's earthquake was severe, and there are so many people I talked to it. Among them there are some old people, there are some young people, and they very strongly said that in their life they have never ever experienced this type of severe earthquake. And even I was in a building, 8th floor, and the building was jerking severely. Every citizen, every dweller of most of the buildings, they were so much panicked, and even children were panicked, they were crying, there were chaos everywhere. Most of the injured have been hospitalized, and now I see that on the streets thousands of people are still on the street, and even people are panicked to return to their homes.
আমি দেখিনি আর পড়াশোনা এত বড় বাকি। আমরা ওই শিক্ষা শুরু হয়েছে পরে গরমের মধ্যে মানুষ অনেক শিক্ষা দিয়ে নিয়েছিল, আমি গেছে আমরা নিচে নামে গেলাম আর কি। আগে দেখলাম এখানে আসলে পরে দেখলাম যে এখানে এই অবস্থা, মানুষজন জমে গেছে, শুনলাম এখানে লোক মারা গেছে।
Now Bangladesh needs mega plan immediately to detect or identify all the fitless building, and especially a long-term mega plan for Old Dhaka is very much important for the greater interest of this country. Otherwise, any big earthquake like Turkey there will be more casualties and there is risk of losing lives of thousands of people here in capital Dhaka. So the people are in panic and they are requesting the government, especially the interim government led by a Nobel Peace Laureate, to start a mega plan at least so that the national election is very close, and whoever come to power through a national election, that elected government can continue through that mega plan, so that at least the people, Bangladesh, you know, that is one of the overcrowded countries in the world. 170 million people live in this country and more than 20 million people live only in capital Dhaka. And the most populated and most densely parts of capital Dhaka is this Old Dhaka. So people of this Old Dhaka are in more panic. So they need safety. They want to live in peace with safety guarantee. And for that reason, the people are demanding the interim government at least to initiate a mega plan so that that plan can be continued by any government who would come to power after a national election likely to be held in February 2026.